and cinnamon sugar. And I've been debating on how I was going to do this. Okay. Now, this is not the big news that's going to end up having to be a story time, but just know it's something that's brewing and I have to do a story time. The story time might end up having to be two separate ones, a part one and a part two. But yeah, in the meantime, in between time, let me tell y'all what else is going on. But just know that by the time I get to the second part of what I'm telling y'all today, it's gonna be juicy. It's gonna be juicy enough for y'all to be like, okay, wait a minute, this is too much. But anyway, I know y'all see it. What y'all know about the mean green machine? What y'all know about the mean green machine? Y'all, so a lot of stuff been going on in my life. I can't talk to y'all about it yet, but I'm gonna tell y'all what I can tell y'all. I'm off for the rest of this week. At my job, they have it where you can get accruals and all this other stuff, but I'm not even using that. I have a decent amount of sick time left over. But let me go ahead and just get into everything so I can finally get down to what I need to tell y'all. Because when I tell y'all what I got to tell y'all, the jaw is going to drop. Okay? The jaw is going to drop because mine dropped. Mine really dropped and I couldn't even believe. I've been trying to make this video for the last 2 days and stuff just keep happening. And I'm like, so anyway, okay, so I worked Tuesday and I worked Wednesday, and I'm not going back for the rest of this week. So when I came into work Tuesday, I had one issue that happened, and because of how everything went down before a couple of weeks ago when I had to go off on that maintenance man, he knows to send somebody else. Worst case scenario got to pop up before he's called and he come over there and try to help rectify the situation. So he ended up having to do that, but I didn't have to have no interaction with him, so I was good. Do what you do. I didn't have no issues for the rest of the day. Everything was fine. So then Wednesday came. When we came in, it was a mess, but it wasn't the side of the department that I had to run, so I didn't even care. I was good. So, but I still came in. I was upset because I could see what they were doing. I'm talking about I hadn't even cut my radio on yet. They was doing the most. I have paperwork and stuff I got to do when my day start. I get paperwork and I do my paperwork for my side of the department and I do paperwork for the other person's side of the department, just out of habit. Bare minimum is you doing it for your side of the department. So anyway, they doing so much that I just had to turn everything off so I could have a moment to breathe, to go get the paperwork, to be able to do everything I need to do. Then I turned everything on. Of course, they looking at me sideways, and I'm like, I don't even really care. I don't even care at this point that y'all looking at me like I'm crazy. That's fine. Do what you do, but I got to get my paperwork done. So, y'all, the day went well. It was just the fact that the other side was not operational. But when it finally did become operational, like maybe 2, 3 hours after that, it was still bad. It was still going bad over there. Something ended up happening over there that I hadn't seen since pretty much they first came up with this department. Like maybe 6 months into them being operational. But when the maintenance dude came over there, he gonna try to say, "Oh well, this is this problem. It's because of this. It's because of that." And I just was like, "Y'all, when the situation happened the last time, it was to the point where every single maintenance person in the building had to finish what they were doing and come over there. If you were already on a call and you were fixing something somewhere else, when you were done, you were told when you're done, you need to come over here." Because that department was priority at the time. It's kind of still priority, but yeah, it was number one priority at the time. Every single person was in there. It was so bad that the maintenance supervisor at the time had to come over there. They figured out what it was, but they had to troubleshoot and do all that, but it was something that only maintenance could fix. So when he was over there lying to the person, talking about, "Oh, well, you got to do this and you got to do that, and it's because of this, it's because of that," she literally could not be operational in any capacity. That's how bad it was. So I was like, "Oh, you don't even understand what it's hidden for. Do what you do though." So anyway, I went off. I ended up going off, not to him, but I made sure to be loud enough for them to understand that this is some foolishness that's going on. And he just doing what he normally does, and that is to create a lie and say something just to get out of fixing something. And I made sure he heard me when I said it because it literally was something that has been fixed before by maintenance. It's something that only can be fixed by maintenance. So anyway, now fast forward to Tuesday when I got off work. I got off work and I made an announcement. And I can't talk about it. But just know a lot of people been blowing me up and all this other stuff. One of the people that blew me up out of nowhere, I'm talking about called my phone, was the divorced man. The divorced man called my phone and I looked at my phone and I was like, I don't know if I should answer this. I don't know about this, but something told me to answer the phone. Long story short, I'm gonna try to shorten it because we had a lot of talking in between. We talking. This man gonna say to me, well, I ain't never changed how I felt about you and all this other stuff, after he got all the pleasantries out of the way and he decided that, oh, I'm gonna keep on talking, I'm gonna keep talking, because he got me on the line and he talking to me. So I'm like, okay, I hear everything you're saying. It's like I'm listening, but I'm like, do I really care what you got to say at this point? Not really, because I need for you to explain to me why you had me thinking that you were divorced and you're not. So I'm waiting on him to give an explanation. He ain't said nothing. So it got to a point where he was, giving me a segue into that. He said something about hugging him, and I was like, now what would make you think that I would want to hug you? Why would you think I would hug you? Why? Why would I hug you? I was like, you do know the situation. He was like, what you mean? What you mean? I know you love hugs. Yes. Everybody who knows me knows that I love hugs, but like what is going on here? Like, you doing too much. I ain't got time for it. Child, this man gonna sit up here and tell me, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, yes, you do. We went back and forth. He was like, oh, eventually he said, oh, so what are you talking about? Me still being married to my wife? I said, yes. Ding, 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 ding. Yes, you are still married to your wife. And I had no idea. I didn't have the slightest clue. We were supposed to be friends. You didn't tell me nothing. Like, what is that about? He was like, look, I thought I did get divorced. I put the paperwork in. I got the lawyer. I signed the paperwork and I sent it to her. Remember, we had a conversation and I told you that she was living at her grandmama's house. I said, yeah, you did tell me that, but that's still not explaining to me the fact that you told me that you had a divorce decree sent to your house. You told me that you had a divorce decree and that you would show me and that you could show me the divorce decree proving that you were no longer married. But me being dumb, I sat up there and was like, you know what? It's all right. It is what it is. I'm not even going to sweat it because he hasn't lied to me so far. I've been able to verify everything else prior to that moment, prior to that, and everything else checked out. So I'm like, well, why would he lie all of a sudden now? You told me you didn't love the woman no more. You ain't want to be with her no more. You really shouldn't have never married her and all that. Okay, cool. Do what you do. That's fine. Y'all, we on the phone. And of course, that ain't all I want to talk about. Oh, I have a lot of things I want to talk about. So even before we even got to that part, he was talking about, well, just going to casually throw in there. Yeah, I'm going through a lot right now. Going through a lot right now. And I got to pull these 30 days. I mean, really just talking to me like I already know this, even though I do. But he didn't know I knew. And I was like, but yeah, I know about that. He was like, oh, you do? I was like, yeah. Unfortunately, you weren't the one who told me about it. There were a series of events leading up to it. And that's the only reason why I know about it. So he was like, oh, for real? I was like, yeah. So I started listing off stuff. I told him, I straight up came to him and I was like, let me tell you something. This is very interesting to me because I kept trying to figure out for the longest why you never showed up. And nothing ever came about. I didn't understand. You never said anything to me. And I wasn't finna press you. So somebody that you had no idea that I associate with came to me and told me that you approached her and said out of your mouth, I like what I see. I'm still married, but I'm finna get divorced. And I would love to have you as my side. And I looked at her like, what you talking about? What are you talking about? Because this man that came to me, he been chasing me. And now he talking about, he done told me he's already divorced. This been 6+ months telling me he divorced and got a divorce decree at the house. So ain't no way we talking about the same person. So she done told me the position he working in, all this other stuff. She just didn't remember what his name was. She just never really knew, in all honesty, what his name was. So she was just like, I know what he looked like, and she described him. So I was like, girl, I know you ain't talking about who I think you're talking about. So I pulled up a picture of him. She was like, yeah, that's him. I was like, I'm done. Y'all, I almost fell out. So then I kept debating in my mind if I should even talk to her and say, hey, this is the situation. This is what, what's going on. But, out of fear of it possibly getting out. Because for me, I value my privacy when it comes to stuff like that, because I don't want any outside influences to disturb what we possibly could have going on. So she told me what she told me, and then I said, you know what? I kept thinking about it. I said, well, let me tell her. So that's when I told her about my affiliation to this man. And so since she never knew and nobody at work ever knew, hey, hey, how you doing? Thank you for joining the live. I'm talking about a situation that's going on currently, and I only could tell people bits and pieces of it until everything else unfolds. It's gonna be a lot, and a lot of people are gonna be very um invested, and it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a whole lot. Can I what? Can I essay? Can I say what? So we talking, and I'm saying to this man, I ain't got time for this foolishness. Like, what are you talking about? He has sat up here, and in my mind, he's lied to me. In his mind, he feels as though he hasn't lied. In his mind, he has not lied, and I'm just like, you've been lying to me. He said, oh no, I ain't been lying to you. I ain't never lied to you. Oh, okay. He said he has never lied to me, and I was like, but you have. Like, you've never said anything to me. You never came to me to correct the situation. You just went on as if everything was fine. This man finally came back to work after getting arrested, after not showing up when he was supposed to meet up with me, and then acted as if everything was fine. And I'm just looking at him like, this is what we do. Like, what? Why? So I ignored him. I ignored him because I was just like, what in the world is going on with this? But it was crazy because when he did start coming around and I finally started seeing him at work again, I then found out about him trying to roll up on my friend. So I'm ignoring him at every cost. I've turned my whole body away from him. So within this conversation that we just had starting on Tuesday, he said, oh, I peep everything. I saw when you were ignoring me, and I just respected your wishes. I kept trying to talk to you and you wouldn't speak to me for the longest. I said, yeah, like I told y'all before, I really would not talk to him. And so I made a point to tell him, I said, you do know that if I had ever tried to respond to you when I was highly upset with you back then, you were liable to get slapped. You were liable to get punched in the face. And he said, you know what? I respect that. I would have deserved it too. I said, oh, I know. And I said, I've never been that angry in my life because you made me look like I was crazy out here in these streets. You made me look crazy. And I was about to blow up my life because I had gotten to a point where I thought he was being genuine with me. He started being very, very consistent. And it was to the point that it seemed like, even though it's a tragic situation, it seemed like it took his mom passing away for him to understand that life is too short. And that was the most consistent that man has ever been. It was to the point he was calling and texting almost every day. And we would talk for a decent amount of time and all of that. And he would show that he cared. So I was like, okay, child. I told him, I don't know what that was about, but you played in my face. And he was like, no, I still feel the same way. Now, keep in mind, this man is still married right now to this day. He gonna tell me, I still feel the same about you. I still love you. I still want to be with you. I'm rolling my eyes like, sir, no, absolutely not. So he gonna tell me, I'm serious. I still feel the same way. I wouldn't lie to you. I was like, okay. And I started laughing. Y'all, I'm just laughing at him like, you are a liar. He was like, I'm not lying to you. I ain't never lied to you. I was like, sir, you're not finna tell me that you could have possibly cared about me when all this stuff was popping off and you could have simply told me what was going on. You never once said anything to me. If I hadn't had that interaction with my friend, I would have never known what was going on with you because I started connecting dots. All kinds of dots started becoming connected because of that situation. So for those of y'all who don't know, because you might have come across this live by accident, there was a situation that happened back in 2022 where this dude, he had came to my job back in 2021 and he kept trying to roll up on me. He's married. I don't play that. I don't screw married men. I don't seek married men. A lot of people don't care about that, but that's not me. I ain't here for it. I'm too much to handle by myself. Like, what would be the reason? You can't handle me by yourself. You trying to have another person on the side and be with me too, it ain't gonna work. So anyway, he kept telling me he never should have been with this person and he's gonna get divorced from her. But the issue was he felt sorry about getting her pregnant while they were actively screwing and all this other stuff. So he was just like, to make things right in his mind at the time, he felt like, oh, well, I need to, marry her. So he married her because she'd never been married before, and that was her first child. So I said, okay. Didn't know nothing about him at all. Well, one day we were talking because we found out that we actually work in the same department. We were talking, and I found out what his last name was. And I said, I bet it's a very small world. And so I said, do you know somebody by this name? And he said, that's my baby cousin. I started laughing and I said, I figured she might be related to you once you started telling me certain things. And so he was just like, how you know her? I was like, I'm really, really cool with her. Like, to be honest with you, we became really, really close while I was working this part-time job, and she was really, really sweet. And I kept playfully saying to her, I think you pregnant. She used to be so sick all the time at work, always throwing up. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Every time she would go get blood work done, she would come up not pregnant. I don't know how that would happen, but whatever. She ended up leaving the job. And it, like, even before she left the job, it became a running joke that she was pregnant. Everybody else started getting in on it and everything. They'd be like, oh, she going to the bathroom. Oh, she going to throw up because she's pregnant. Like, everybody got in on the joke. But when she left the job, she ended up getting pregnant. So because I've always been so supportive of her, because she is younger. She's like her mid to late 20s now. I'm finna be 40 in February. She gravitated towards me. She was always nice. She was always sweet. And we always had a great conversation. She kind of had to grow up fast. She had some terrible things that happened to her when she was younger. So I think that's why we were able to get along and she would have such adult conversations with me. So anyway, that ended up being his cousin. They are the only ones that have that last name. But I know his other cousins and all of that because I've worked with them as well. And he's his cousin, one of his cousins is dating one of my really good friends. And he was like, oh, I know her. And, he was telling me about him and all this other stuff. He was like, yeah, one time I prayed over him and all this other stuff, prayed over their relationship. I confirmed that with my friend too, because that's why I'm saying to y'all, like, I've confirmed everything this man has ever said to me. And it has been true up until all this other stuff went down. So anyway, y'all, back to the conversation that happened Tuesday. So he talking to me, talking to me, talking to me. And I'm like, I hear everything you saying. But like I said, you have never been divorced. He gonna try to argue me up and down. Well, I filed the paperwork and signed it, and I sent it to her grandmama's house, and she never signed it. I said, okay, but that means you're still not divorced. I said to you, divorce decree. I'm well aware of what that looks like. I know what that legal paperwork looks like because of my history with being in social work and all the other stuff. There are a lot of documents that I have come across in the past. So I know what it looks like. I've seen them in Alabama. I've seen them in Georgia, all this other stuff. Even though I'm in Virginia at the moment, I'm just saying I know what it looks like. So I tried to take his word that he actually was divorced. And whenever it would come up in conversation, I would make a point to bring it up in conversation and be like, oh, well, your wife, this. And he would quickly say, that's not my wife. That's my ex-wife. He over here making plans. He been sitting up here talking about, I want to go home with you and ask your father for permission to date you and then come back later on and ask for permission to marry you. Like, this man used to pursue me so hard at work. It didn't even make no sense. It did not make no sense. And so I'm just like, sir, I ain't got time for this. He keep asking me out on dates. I'm like, sir, you married? He was like, I'm about to be divorced. I'm like, yeah, okay. So it started becoming real. And so I'm at the point now where it seems as though he's actually gotten divorced. And I mean, I went 6+ months being very, very specific to make sure that he was no longer divorced. And the only thing that I messed up on was not doing what I normally do, which is I need to see the paperwork. I need to see these documents because I know what they look like. So I messed up in that regard. Come to find out, this man's still married. Now, I found this out after the fact. So, like I said, it became easier anyway for me to disregard that he even exists because he works on a different shift than I do now. So when I would see him at first, once I started realizing stuff and he had approached my friend, I would not talk to him. I wouldn't say, hey, bye, nothing. Like for me, I'm the type of person that even if I don't fool with you, if you speak to me, I will at least speak back to you. That's just the southern part of me that you enter a room, you speak to everybody. If somebody speak to you, you speak back. Like you ain't got to be a morning person. It don't matter. Like I know people who ain't morning people who ain't none of that. But we from the South, and most of us believe in speaking when spoken to. So if nothing else, I will at least speak back to you. Oh my gosh, I'm telling this man, I ain't got time for this because he was really going back and forth with me. I was like, it don't matter what you say. You literally are not divorced. So we fast forward into the case. He has gotten arrested for a DUI. When he was supposed to meet up with me, he never showed up. Normally, whenever he was supposed to meet up with me, he would show up. So now you done got arrested. I don't know nothing about this until after the fact, when all this other stuff started coming together. So it's 6+ months after the fact now. He ends up having all these court cases. I ended up going to one of the court cases, but I went a month early. I had gotten the date mixed up. That's the only reason why I never sat in on one of the cases. But anyway, while the conversation is going on, I'm saying to him, well, yeah, I know that. And the only reason why I know these things are because it's just because of information that I have been given and I've been able to verify. Because I like verifying information instead of just going gung ho and just be like, oh, you said this? Okay, let me go do this. Like, no, I need to have the information. I done did all this. I'm ignoring him. And then, you know what I'm saying? Eventually, I would halfway wave at him in passing when he would want to talk and say something or whatever. I ain't trying to have no conversation with you. I pull out my phone and start texting somebody or do something so I don't have to talk to you. He noticed all of that. He notices, when I tell y'all, he notices way too many things. He be doing the most. So when it came to this, I asked him specifically, I was like, well, I know that you are still with your wife. He was like, he was like, yeah, we are still legally married. I was just like, so what was the reason? In his mind, he was like, I still don't love her. That don't matter. I said, sir, you live with her. Y'all are living together. I was about to blow my life up to be with you. I was going to put my life, that part of my life on display at work. I was going to hug you in front of people. You over here talking about you want to go out on dates and all this other stuff. So I wasn't going to keep that a secret no more. Like I was going to live out loud. I was about to do that. I was about to look stupid in front of everybody. I was going to be the laughing stock at work. He was like, no, it wouldn't have been like that. It wouldn't have been like that. And he over there, he just sat up there and said, he basically fumbled me. And I'm saying to myself, it is what it is. Whatever you want to think. It don't even matter at this point. And so he was just like, I'm sorry about that. I was like, I said, you do realize that I really was about to put myself out there like that. I told you that I'm trying not to like you, but I'm beginning to like you. And again, this was after he made it seem like he had gotten divorced and all this other stuff. And so I'm kind of listening to him a little bit, like, I hear you, I hear you, I hear you. Because of everything I've been through in my past, I really don't be halfway listening to these dudes. Because people will say anything to try to get in your draw. So I just be like, I don't want to hear that. You just saying this because you think you finna get me to bust it wide open, tell you to bring it back. So anyway, it was just a mess. So with the case that happened, y'all, he didn't know that I knew about it. So he casually threw it in the conversation. I was like, yeah, I knew about that. So I told him I knew about that. And that I also knew about him still being married, even though he don't know that I know. But that was the thing. I had to basically bully him into saying it out loud. I was like, you know what I'm talking about. So eventually he was like, oh, the fact that I'm still married. I was like, yes. Ding, 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 ding. Yes, you are still married and you ain't saying a word to me. I thought we were better than that. My thing is, if y'all have reconciled, do what you do. You could have just said that. Don't sit up here stringing somebody along. When I told you off rip, I wasn't looking for nobody to begin with. For those of y'all who have been around, y'all know I used to do something called Married Man Side Heifer Sagas, because there was another married man who started the whole saga. Like it was so much stuff going on with that stupidity. It was just so much going on with that's really what it was about. But then I ended up adding him to it. But anyway, I'm just like, you already know what I have had to deal with this other dude. that I have not had no association with. I ain't never had the slightest interest in this dude. And one of his side chicks at work wants to make it a hostile work environment because he lived for me and I don't live for him. Like to this day, this man still will come to the department that I work in, walk through to look at me and then go out another door. Now you have to understand that where I work, nothing that's over there, none of the supervisors, none of the leads, nothing, nobody, no resource, there's nothing over there that pertains to what he does. Meaning there's no reason for him to be over there. Where he works is on a whole other side of the building. We have no correspondence at all. There's nothing. There's no reason for him to come over there, but he makes a point to do that. My friend talked to me the other day. He was like, yeah, he wanted to walk by and see that double wide. I said, if you don't shut up talking to me. But yeah, he be doing the most. And he would take it upon himself to go to the same not divorced man every month and be like, well, what's up with her? What she got going on? And that would make him question me, having the audacity to question me to my son. Are you sure you and him ain't got something going on? Because he always asking me about you. I said, I don't talk to him. Why would I? If y'all knew what the side heifer looked like, y'all would be like, I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare want to go behind him, her, no, none of them people. Like, what in the world? Girl, I ain't got time. That man using you, and he got other people up in there that's paying him to have sex with them and some more. Why? I need to understand why people think I would be desperate enough. I ain't desperate at all. If I want something, like if I really wanted something, especially if it pertained to sex, I can call somebody right now that I know will be able to do exactly what I wanted them to do, and I will be beyond satisfied. I am being celibate, which is very hard because I have an extremely high sex drive. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So anyway, let me get back to what I'm telling y'all. So I'm talking to this man, and he really is like, I don't love her. I've never loved her. The love been gone. The little bit that I did have for her, and I think that was only because of our son. I'm like, look here. All of that is irrelevant because y'all live together. This man moved from where he was at into a house to it's a place that's like further away from work. So I told him straight up, I was like, oh yeah, speaking of, I pulled up. One day, I was out and about, and where he lives is like, well, where he was living was like 45 minutes to an hour away. And we would pass it when we would go and get our drinks. It was this space, there's a place. It's not even no alcoholic beverages. Anyway, it's a place that they no longer have here in this city that we would go to another city to go and do that. And we would just basically do it as a way to have us like a little mini girls trip, and just talk. And we would be able to just vent to each other and just talk about life or whatever. And that's what me and my friend would do. So this particular time, she was like, oh, we could just stop by here. We stopped through there looking, I don't see nothing. Because I'm not believing that this man no longer lives over here, because he made a point to double up on payments and everything, because that's how proud he was that he owned something, was about to own it. Like he was almost close to paying it off where he lived. So I was like, okay. So anyway, fast forward back to this conversation. This man talking to me, he gonna end up going off the rails talking about what's going on with the dude that you had posted on social media where you were praising him for buying these shoes for you. And I was like, sir, what are you talking about? I said, I know you ain't talking about a post that I put up 2 years ago in 2021 of somebody that I no longer associate with. He was like, no, it was around Christmas time last year. I said, sir, ain't no way. And so at the time I wasn't thinking, because I'm just like, you ain't finna play in my face. No, that's not what's happening. I looked it up while I'm on the phone talking to him. And for whatever reason, none of the comments that I know were up there before were coming up. So when I did look again, I said, let me look through my reels and videos and stuff. When I looked through those, close to the time that I posted that, it had to have been the same year, I looked and I saw where I had did somewhat of a reaction to the Bone Thugs and Harmony versus 3 6 Mafia versus or whatever. So I was like, I think that happened in 2021. Let me look it up and see. And I said, that happened in 2021. What are you talking about? He was like, oh, I thought that happened in 22. I said, well, you do realize and remember that, I was trying to build something with somebody. I thought that I was building something with somebody. So, of course, that's me throwing out at him. He was like, yeah, you ain't have to go there. I said, but I did. I really did, because you played in my face. So anyway, he gonna try to tell me that ain't it. That ain't, oh, you done lost your mind. You finna get up out of here. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't know who that was talking about some all hell Satan. Absolutely not. But anyway, you had to get up out of here and hide that. Get you up out of here, all of that. So anyway, sorry about that. So yeah, he doing the most. And I'm just like, no. Anyway, y'all, he keeps trying to tell me, no, no, no. I still love you. You don't understand. I'm just like, I can't tell. But the conversation was about to go sideways when he tried to tell me, I've never disrespected you. I said, when, what you mean you ain't never disrespect? I had to completely interrupt him. I said, yes, you did. Yes, you did. Thank you. Thank you, Simply Dimple. Thank you so much. I said, no, that's a lie. You have disrespected me because you sat up here, you still married, you lying to my face. And I caught you flirting with somebody. Now, he made a point to tell me, I'm talking about within the first year of me knowing him. That man said, I don't like white women. I don't deal with white people. I ain't never slept with no white woman, whatever, whatever. One day, after everything had gone down and he finally came back to work, he was over here flirting with somebody that I came in with. Now, she has moved up the ladder since, but we came in and had the same position. So, only reason why I even turned around because I heard his voice. I said, because I knew that she was standing next to me. We were both looking at the schedule, and then he came up behind her and said something, and they were flirting. I was like, child. Anyway, so I brought that up. I was like, yeah, why I got you on the line? What's up with that? Since you want to ask me questions, I said, oh, I saw you. I saw you with my own two eyes. He denied it, denied. He was like, I know you ain't talking about what I think you talking about. We went to school together. I know her boyfriend. I said, yeah, when she came in with me, she had a boyfriend. I'm not sure if she's still with that same person. It is what it is. But I need for you to understand, I saw you and I heard you. So I don't care what you're saying at this point. Well, he gonna deny. He kept on denying it. This man denied everything. Oh, he denied to the ground. He denied it to the end that he never approached my friend about being on side piece and said that he was still married and all this other stuff. I was like, she ain't got no reason to lie to me. She didn't even know about your existence. But go off though. So anyway, y'all, we on there still talking, and I was just like, you know what? Not that I really even care at this point. Are you and your wife still actively having sex? Now, this is where y'all's jaw about to drop. Guess what this man said to me? He said, since we being honest, I'm being honest with you. I can't even have sex. I have erectile dysfunction now. And the medication that the doctors have given me don't even work. I said, wait a minute, what, wait, what? When I tell y'all, I said what? Before I knew it. I said, huh? He said, I have erectile dysfunction. So I can't even have sex no more. And the medication that the doctor prescribed to me is not even helping. So I don't even look at her. I don't think about sex or none of that. I can't even have sex. I said, y'all, I did just like this. I had my phone in my hand. And when he said that, and I had him on speakerphone, I had my phone in my hand. And when he said that, I said, I don't know if in my mind I felt like he was going to hear my jaw drop, but you would have been able to hear a pin drop. When that man said that to me, I said, wait a minute. Wait. Hello. How you doing? But just in case you just missed it, I just said that the not so divorced man reached out to me and we were having a conversation, and we were airing out some things because he tried me. Y'all know that man tried me. And so I said, well, while we on the phone, I ended up asking him, when was the last time you had sex with your wife? Because I know you still live with her. And he told me, I ain't gonna lie to you, since we being honest, I'm gonna tell you the truth. And that man said to me, I have erectile dysfunction. I can't even have sex. And the medication that they gave me, I can't even use it. It don't even work. So I was like, I couldn't say that for a while. I was like, wait, I was not ready. I was not ready for that man to say that. So in my mind, I instantly was like, well, dang, is this karma? Is this karma? Because he went from telling me that he would probably be able to run circles around me and that he had a ridiculous sex drive like me and all this other stuff. So to this, to where he can't do nothing. I was like, oh my goodness. But yeah, y'all, we ended up getting a whole lot of stuff out in the open. And he never raised his voice at me because I was definitely trying to figure out if he was gonna try me, and he didn't. So I'm glad he didn't, because if I needed to get buck with him, I was gonna get buck too. Because it's like, you ain't got no reason to try to get buck with me when I've been 100% honest with you ever since we ever started any type of association with one another. Like, please don't come at me sideways. 17 years. Who is this? Give me the initials. You ain't gotta say your name. I'm trying to figure out what cousin is this. Lord have mercy. What cousin is this? Give me the initials and what side of the family, my mom or my daddy's side of the family. Cause I on purpose don't advertise to anybody that I have a YouTube page. And one cousin figured it out. I don't know how she figured it out, but she popped on here. So far, she was the only family member that knew about it. And then one person I went to college with, she came across this page because I was discussing it was a hurricane or a tornado that happened in Beauregard, Alabama that year. And that was the only time. But yeah, put your initials so I know which cousin this is. And be warned, if you ever come over here again, if you ever grace this page again, I don't hold back. If it's something that I've experienced, whether it was church hurt that happened from family members or whatever, I'll hold my tongue about it. I talk about it, I release it. And me being on this channel has definitely helped to heal a lot of stuff for me. It has been very therapeutic for me. Um, but yeah, y'all, I had to come and tell y'all about that because I just could not believe. I could not believe. But we finally got a lot of stuff out in the open. And I didn't think the conversation was going to happen because I had been trying to have the conversation. And if it was going to happen, I wanted it to happen in person. But I'm just glad it happened on the phone in general because I really didn't think it was going to happen. Child, you could have had bought me for a penny. I would have never thought that that's what that man was going to say to me. I would have never thought. So I'm gonna try to save one of the things that just developed today for another day when it's closer to happening. Well, when it actually happens, that's what I'm gonna say about that. But I have a whole lot of other stuff I do have to tell y'all, but I can't tell y'all about it right now. I'm probably gonna tell y'all about it in the next couple of weeks. But just know that this was a conversation that needed to happen. We finally had it, and I don't know if you think we on great terms or something now, but I'm not in the space that I was in when everything first happened, because you wouldn't have been able to pay me to pick up the phone when everything first happened, because he really tried me. A year has gone by, and I mean, I'm not an evil person. So even people that I don't affiliate with, I normally don't even fool with you like that if you done tried me. Like, I'm the type of person that I can speak to you even if I don't fool with you, but it might not be how it used to be if we ever had a closer relationship. I have to ask my mama, because my mama is funny. She knows about everybody on both sides of my other family. And my daddy don't be knowing nothing. Oh no. But I will ask my mama about Greer and see what she says, because I definitely don't know about Greer. You got me curious now, trying to figure out if you have any affiliation to my maternal grandmother or my paternal grandmama. Trying to figure out which side of the family. You really got me curious. It's about 17 years. Like, wait a minute now. Wait. Because I'm about to be 40 in February. So, I mean, that's a good little while. But I was still, technically grown. But yeah, y'all. We finally had that conversation. It really did need to happen. And I don't know if we're going to talk about some more things, but if we do, I'll let y'all know what was said. But I read him. I had to read him down to the ground because he really tried me. Like, why would you do that? He knew my history. He knew that I had been damaged and hurt beyond repair from the things that men have put me through in the past. But then he still sat up there in my face and did the same thing, if not worse. And I'm just like, why would you do that? And I told him off rip, I don't deal with married men. So he already knew that too. So, but he was like, I've never disrespected you. I would never disrespect you. I was like, but you did though. But anyway, I think it's time for me to go ahead and go. I'm glad I did this as a live because every time I tried to do it as a regular video to upload, it ended up being like an hour because I just started thinking of more things that he said to me, and then it got longer and longer. But anyway, everybody else could catch it in the playback. All right, let me figure out how to get off of here. Hopefully, y'all are having an amazing night. Y'all have a safe weekend, and please tend to yourselves and pay attention to all of the weather alerts and things going on because it's about to start getting kind of rough. I don't know if we are in for a beating or whatever, but I know we're supposed to get a little rain where I'm at. I'm in Virginia right now. So yeah, y'all. Y'all take care and I will see y'all later on for something else. I'm about to catch up on Sisters actually. And for those of y'all who know me, y'all know I used to come on here doing recap reviews, and that was a part of my healing too, because I didn't really have anybody to talk to about the shows I watched. But I'm gone. Peace. Y'all have a good day. Bye.